Hey, good morning. Hey there, Becca. Hey there, Booking Girl Brown Reviews. If you guys are still in here, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'll let this go for about 5 minutes before we get started reviewing stuff. We've been wanting to come over here on this little second channel and talk about aliens and UFOs for a while. And I haven't had time not once, to go in here and look through literally anything. I have no idea what it's going to show. I know that there was 3 releases. I'm going to go ahead and share it to my screen so you guys that are coming in know what we're looking at. Hey there, Angie. How you doing? How you doing? Hey, Richie was. How you doing? I am excited to look through this stuff today. Do I need this on? Do I need this on? I don't know if I need this on. Do I need this on? I don't know. How was everyone's morning? It's been nice and quiet. I'm actually kind of surprised I don't hear a lot of like lawnmowers and stuff happening. Hey, Jennifer. How you doing? How you doing? It's actually nice and quiet today. Me too. I'm excited to see what they have in here. I mean, I think it's kind of funny because they're kind of like approaching this like they're doing us a favor. When in reality, like, you're just telling us what we've already known. Like, you're just telling us that we've already known is true. All you're doing is telling us that everything that we've been discussing over the past however many decades, we were accurate in having those discussions because obviously there was something else going on and y'all were lying to us the entire time. So, I mean, yeah, cool. I'm glad that they're like releasing stuff, but I always just question, like, for what? For what? Because when they release stuff like this, and it's just like stuff that's been secret for years and years and years and years and years, you always have to question the agenda for like, why all of a sudden? And yeah, maybe sometimes there isn't an agenda, and maybe sometimes laws finally get passed and people finally get to see things. Because a lot of this stuff is like held for like 50 years after a certain date, or like 2 generations after this person dies. Like, there's all kind of weird ass stipulations when it comes to these things. So that's another reason why I want to get more into the like the Anunnaki and the Sumerian tablets and all that other stuff. Because like I mentioned on my main channel, I find it really interesting that they uncovered the tomb of Gilgamesh, which is basically like the Noah person in the stories. They uncovered this tomb in the Iraq area, like right around the time that all this alien disclosure and stuff started like kicking off. And there's just a lot like in like what's called modern day Iraq, what it used to be. There's a lot of secrets, a lot of changes that were made, a lot of political things that took place that changed the Bible as we know it. And not just like once, several times. Politics played a hand. So I feel like this kind of stuff all kind of comes together. I've always kind of felt since I was a kid that something was just off with the way that the world was, with what we were being told. And the crazy part is that the truth when it comes to like the Sumerians, or at least what the truth is according to their tablets, when it comes to what we are as a race, as humanity, is literally what everyone complains that we already are. But it's still something that people are going to go against. Because in those things, this race came down, these beings came down from the heavens, from the sky, and what they brought with them wasn't working, so they created something to do the work better, which is us, a slave race. And we are a slave race. We're literally in modern day slavery as it is. If we were not working, paying taxes, and continuing this bullshit ass cycle of filling their pockets, they wouldn't exist and have all this power. And at the end of the day, when it gets down to the basis of the Anunnaki information and the Sumerian tablets and what the purpose is for humans, it's all the same. It's all the same. So we'll see. We'll see if in our lifetime we get to see some truth. I just doubt it, because the truth is going to destroy everything that they have built. I just don't know how much longer they can actually go, you know? We're all kind of figuring things out. Hey there, Debsy. How you doing? How you doing? Hey, Soul Warrior. How are you? Hey, Christina. Okay. We're going to start opening these now. I have not gone through these. Well, let me take that back. I opened the very first one like weeks ago when they first dropped this stuff and sort of just like skimmed through it, but I don't remember at all what the frick it says. And they make you download like pretty much like each and every one of these, which is also really annoying, but also why I'm like doing them one at a time because I just don't want all this stuff on my computer and just like sitting there. So let's just take a look and see what these are. Hi there, Linda from Scotland. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Okay, so let's see. I don't really think there's going to be anything in here besides like names. Homeland Security Center, Washington, D.C. I know there's a lot of like Fort Bragg information in here. Okay. DIA for terrorism, Central Intelligence Agency, information report. Not finally evaluated intelligence warning. Sensitive intelligence sources and methods involved. Any transmission or revelation of this information in any manner to an unauthorized person is prohibited, including under the espionage laws of the United States. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Morning, morning, morning. Yeah, I've been wanting to go through this stuff for like a while, so I'm glad that we're getting started. I'm going to try to do this every Sunday. From like 8:45. Hey Rex, from like 8:45 to like 10:45ish, like 2 hours on Sunday mornings. Just sort of like going through these. Maybe going over some of the Congress stuff that's been coming out that they've been discussing. Hey Sweet Pea. Thank you. Purple. Gotta throw some color in there sometimes, you know. Oh my god, mine too. Oh my god. Like this and crime. Pretty much like right up in there. Borderlands is fun. My son plays that. Hey Lash, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Okay, let's see. July 3rd, 2008. Placement is redacted on high alert due to perceived aggression, foreign posturing. Okay, so this was report obviously is very redacted. But I see the word Zimbabwe, the Ariel event. Like, I know most of you know my daughter's name is Ariel, but that's not the Ariel I'm talking about. There is an Ariel event that took place, I think, in that area, somewhere over in the African area. And like an entire, like, it was called, I think, the Ariel School event. We'll go over it one day. And like the entire school, they all drew photos. They all had the same recollection. And there was even a school like a few miles away that saw like the flying, whatever the hell it actually was before it landed next to the school, and like had this encounter with the children. And all of the kids to this day have kept the same story. There's all these drawings. They all look very similar. There's no way just like 40 something kids had mass hallucinations. So when it comes to that kind of stuff that's been documented, I've always paid attention. Oh my God, I've always paid attention. Hey, Shelly, how you doing? How you doing? Hey, Allison, how are you? Oh, for some people, look, like it's a joke to us, right? Because like, obviously, the majority of us are very well aware of the stupidity, but a lot of people are blind, y'all. There's so many people out there that don't know that like communities out here that have like thinking brains that discuss these things that we're told even exist. They just so blindly believe everything that the government puts on channel TV, cable TV. And honestly, like those people's lives are so like less stressed. Like it's not even a joke. You really, you go and you see social medias of people that all they do is get up and talk to their friends and hang out, and they work, and they have like what you would call like a normal life, and they don't dig into this stuff, and look how blissfully happy they look. Obviously everyone has like life stressors, but people that like don't pay attention are so not this. They're so not this. Hey, Trish, how you doing? How you doing? Y'all have cameras? Don't need cameras. There's been a lot, especially lately. Obviously, probably some of it's bullshit because of the disclosure stuff happening and The fact that there's a movie, didn't a movie just come out like 2 days ago called Disclosure, Steven Spielberg or something like that? I've seen like stuff scrolling through YouTube. Oh, y'all need some. Y'all should put some cameras out. I would definitely put cameras out. I know my mom told me a long time ago, her and my uncle, well, one of her brothers has like a story of seeing this like triangular type of like thing up in the sky. And my grandpa was like high up Air Force. Was it Air Force? High up Air Force? He wasn't really much of a grandfather, 3 times in my whole life probably. But I think he's like high up in the Air Force. And her story was that like he called his buddies and was like, is there anything clear to be flying over here? Because like my kids are freaking out, blah, blah, blah. And of course they say no. Could have just been above his clearance. I don't know. But I mean, like so many people have stories. I wish I had a story. I have no stories. I have trauma. Trauma and no stories. Like I have no alien stories, no ghost stories, no paranormal stories. Everyone around me has these stories, and I'm just like, can I please just see something? I want to see something. Oh, see, yeah, I'd be really, especially since we know like they're working together. They're probably experimenting with alien technology. I'd be very careful, especially like consider this, and this might be a little bit left, but maybe not. You have to consider like the way that the data centers are like affecting nature. Farmers and ranchers, their cattle are not birthing. The sound is horrible. The bees are nowhere. Okay. We don't know like the frequencies, the emissions that are coming out of whatever these beings are using when it comes to like what they're flying around in, what they're using for transportation. So if they're like, let's say they're at an Air Force base and there's like this alien technology that's being like looked at and maybe like used and played with. We don't really know the side effects of that shit, do we? We really kind of don't. I mean, and it's kind of crazy. You got to kind of like look at everything. But I do. Like, I don't want something like crazy, but I would love to. Like, even my dad has one from whenever he was like a little baby that he remembers like so vividly. And I'm just like, that probably sounds crazy. I just want to see something. I'm a seer to believer, but I also just like, damn, there's so much information out there. Okay, let's just read. Let me take a sip of my coffee. Hey, Linda. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. We might say a lot of us have been talking about this stuff for like a super long time. So if you're new to it, you might hear some stuff that sounds kind of like out there. But just trust when we like, well, don't just like trust completely. Even on my true crime channel, I say don't take me for gospel. Like always do your own due diligence. But when it comes to this kind of stuff, there's going to be a lot of things that sound crazy. But you have to remember where we are. You have to remember that there's no clear answers. That even when it comes down to the type of food that a human is supposed to eat in order to survive, there is an argument. When it comes to the type of materials that we're supposed to wear for clothing, the dyes that we're supposed to use, when it comes to literally everything, there's an argument, there's no constant. So everything is a little bit wackadoodle. I mean, me too. I sound crazy all the time because I constantly just have questions. Mine on my phone was acting kind of crazy. Auras. My daughter used to see dead people when she was little. Like it happened like a couple of times, and we were able to like verify it because we would like drive by and like just say for instance, I know this isn't like alien, but say for instance, we were driving home one day and there was just a tow truck and a motorcycle like on the side of the road. And she looks over as we're driving past and she goes, "Oh, that guy died." She was like 4 or 5. She's like, "Oh, that guy died." And she went back to whatever she was doing on her little activity pad. The next day, the newspaper comes out. That guy in the motorcycle accident had gotten into an accident like with a truck and had been killed at the scene. And what we had passed by was the aftermath. A few months later, we drove by a funeral home and she looks out the window again and she's like, "Why do all those people look so sad?" And I look over and there's not a single car in the parking lot. She's like seeing shit in the funeral home parking lot. Yeah. Don, when he was little, I swear he used to see little things like up in the corners. He would just like focus on something up in the ceiling and like talk to it. You know? So when you don't see stuff, but you're witnessing people seeing stuff, it can be even creepier than experiencing it because you don't know what to do. You don't know if they're like having a psychotic break, if what they're seeing is real. Like you really don't know how to handle it. Or like if you're responsible for taking the next step or if this is just a passing thing. It's very conflicting. It's very conflicting. Okay, let's get back to this report because I could just talk for like ever. Okay. This is apparently something that took place in Zimbabwe, and it looks like it was early July 2008. And of course, redacted, huge section redacted. And then it says somebody was reporting from Zimbabwe, redacted, regarding an unidentified object hovering at high altitude over the Harare International Airport. This object was observed possibly by both radar and optical means in the skies above Harare during the afternoon of July 2nd, 2008. Possibly by both radar and optical. Wouldn't you know? You're writing a report. Okay, anyway. Reporting blank indicated that the object hovered at an undetermined altitude directly over the Harare. Is it Harare or Harare? I guess Harare Airport. At one point during observation, beams were observed emanating from the object, and of course, redacted again. Individuals blank who were aware of the incident had debated whether the object was an advanced reconnaissance device belonging to a foreign government or whether the object was an unidentified flying object of extraterrestrial origins. According to the observers, blank, the object was disc-like in shape with a hollow center. So like a donut? I mean, isn't there like a donut ship that they've like shown us? They do. They do. They do. Like they're so innocent. They don't have like whatever like makes you not believe in things anymore. So yeah, they definitely, and animals for sure. So he kind of like can feel that they're there. He sent, yeah. Sort of just like a literal instinct, yeah. Seriously. Because you don't know, like a lot of people who have like they can, but if you're like on the outside looking in at that, you're like, I don't know what to do with that situation. Like another example is my cousin, when her father died, she told me, we were like 12. I can vividly remember it. We're standing in her kitchen, at her kitchen sink, like warming up food before we're going into her room to watch freaking TV. And she's telling me how the bedroom behind her in the hallway, where there's this doorway, that's where her father had died. And she is sitting there telling me like 2 nights before this that she saw his ghost standing in the doorway and he was like mangled and his jaw was displaced and all kind of weird shit. And I'm just like, I'm about to sleep in this house. You're telling me this mess? Seriously? But see, like I also believe in like Native American spirits, like not even a joke. And I haven't seen it, but I've sort of experienced stuff as like a kid when stuff would like move around at my house, because we lived right on the edge of a hill that had been preserved for like Indian preservation. There was a lot of like hand tools that were created and arrowheads and stuff like at the top of the hill, and like there was this huge fence around it. Then there was a bunch of houses around the bottom of it, so we'd find stuff like all the time. And after my parents got a divorce, my dad had a guy that he was working with at his wilderness camp. My dad did last chance wilderness camps for kids, like the ones that like are like murderers, rapists, drug dealers, and the judges are like, okay, you know, you got one last chance before we're about to adult your ass, so let's handle this. Okay. He had a guy that worked with him out there that came to the house that I grew up in until my parents got a divorce. Pure Native American, like the body had no hair, Native American, pure bloodline. He refused to walk into our house. He still hung out with my dad. They still went fishing, no problem. He refused to walk through our front door. And the only thing that we had in there was like some arrowheads and this thing that looked like it was like a deer skinner. Like you could tell it was perfectly melded to like a human hand. Like you could tell it was a tool. And he just felt whatever was in there and he refused to walk in. And it wasn't my dad. He had no problem being around my dad. Whatever the energy was not my father. It was the house. So like, I believe in that kind of stuff. I haven't witnessed it myself, but I believe in that kind of stuff because so many people have experienced it. And like, again, we're not all having, or all these groups of people are not having mass hallucinations of things. Shit is real. And for some reason, we're just told that it's, oh, you're crazy, or that's superstitious, or that's religious. It's not real, blah, 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 whatever. The government lies to us about everything. Everything. Everything's real at this point. Mermaids, dragons, spirits, skinwalkers, aliens. It's all real. It's all real. I'm done pretending. I'm done pretending. Okay. Let's see what else this says. Individuals who were aware of the incident had debated whether the object was an advanced reconnaissance device belonging to a foreign government or whether the object was an unidentified flying object of extraterrestrial origins. According to observers, I know we read this part already, it's okay. The object was disc-like in shape with a hollow center and had a series of rotating lights on the underside of the airframe. After a period under observation from the ground, the rotating lights under the object shifted colors, and the object quickly ascended to higher altitudes and out of visual range. Regardless of the origins, this incident blank had resulted in the decision to place the Zimbabwe blank on high alert. And then it's just like, that's it. There's no photos or anything. And that's it. So some weird craft that was the shape of a flat donut with lights underneath it flew next to an airport in Zimbabwe and freaked everyone out. And then they wrote a report about it. Okay. That's the first one. Let's go to numero dos. If it'll go back, you press X. Okay. So that one was from the CIA. This one is from the Department of War from 1949. Look how crazy that looks. It looks so old. Black and white, torn paper. I mean, it's kind of cool knowing that they've been able to take something that's almost 80-something years old and place it into digital so we can actually see it. People actually say that they see that in my lives. Hey, Lone Wolf. There's somebody else from Scotland in here, too. I wonder if y'all know each other. Look, I don't. That's why we're going to be going through everything and doing comparisons. I just don't know, honestly, and I guess I maybe need to talk to you, so like some of you guys that might like know more about that. I don't know which Bible to use. I guess I should explain. Because there's like 1,000 versions of the damn thing, right? Like for no reason whatsoever. There's 1,000 versions of the Bible. So when it comes to comparing like the original translations of like the Book of Enoch, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and all of the original transcriptions, and going in and comparing all the different stories, because like the deluge, or however you say it, the flood, all of that, all those stories, they're like in civilizations that didn't even know each other existed, that existed thousands and thousands of years apart from each other, but they all have the stories, which is so crazy, right? So you have to take some sort of credence to that. I know that the King James Version of the Bible is disgustingly manipulated. Disgustingly manipulated. A lot of people don't realize that he was best friends with William Shakespeare. And that William Shakespeare literally is documented to have helped the people that King James appointed for this deconstruction of the Bible to do so. So when you know that this huge version of the Bible that is out there for the millions was reconstructed by old Billy Boy, you really have to question a few things, because he's a playwright. He's a playwright. He's no one that had any sort of righteousness to him or had been deemed some sort of prophet or anyone important. He was a man who liked to dress up and and put on lipstick and go on to the theater and do his thing. And he completely helped reconstruct the Bible. So I don't know which version to use when doing these comparisons, because I don't want one that's commercialized. I don't want one commercialized. Hey, Legal Swag. Hey, Jojo. Hey, Bia. See, the old one, right? Yeah, like I have like notebooks and notebooks. And they're not the same technical characters at all. But in my, like, just to compare and have a title, it's Inky versus Jesus. It's just like basically like this concept and construct versus this concept and construct. Nothing else other than that. And there's a lot of comparisons in that, but again, it was from like whichever one was just like the first one that I happened to come across. Okay. Yeah, there's a girl on TikTok that's been going through the Ethiopian Bible stuff and like saying a lot of, I'm just like, holy shit. There's so much in there. That part right there. Yeah, because a lot of the stuff when it came to the Ethiopian Bible, oh my God. There's so much in there that's so much like the Sumerian tablets and so much of the information that came from like the Anunnaki. My God. There's so much. There's so much. It's not even funny. Yeah, it's so many different versions. That's crazy. Oh, he worked on Isaiah. That's badass, actually. I feel like it's the closest, right? Hey, Soldade. Sunny days. How you doing? 1500 Wycliffe and an 1800 illiterate Bible. Oh my God, you're going old school. And see, I was listening to this girl yesterday. Let me see if I can find her channel. I had a feeling this would backtrack a lot to Anunnaki stuff because, like, it's like my biggest thing. This girl right here, I mean, she just kind of like started, not really kind of just started. She's got some stuff on here, but she really just kind of like really amped up talking about, and I'll drop it in here just in case you guys want to go take a look at it. I don't know. But the stuff that I was listening to last night of hers was really interesting. It seemed like she is taking a lot of like the old translations and the new translations and trying to compare them and see like where the translations were lost with things. And there's just a lot of really interesting stuff that she's kind of put stuff with. I also really like the fact that people are starting to talk more about Lilith, because the entire story of Adam and Eve has always been so crazy to me with so many missing pieces. So I'm really glad that people are starting to talk about that again too. Yeah, that's the one I think I'm going to get first. Because all the rest of the like versions are all really available online, but I want the Ethiopian version. I want some sort of printed something. And see, I don't understand why everyone that right there. The parishes each had a slightly different version. Isn't that crazy? Like, I don't know why. Why? It should all be the same. Should all be the same. Yeah, her channel is good. The stuff that I've watched so far is good. But she has like this and I haven't watched the first episode yet. I was going to sit down and watch this first episode last night, but I knew it was something I really wanted to pay attention to, and I just wanted to relax last night. So I just got in bed and watched something on TV and ate a little bit of ramen noodles, you know, because I just do that sometimes. But she has something called it's like Ika something. You'll see it on her channel. Because she has like the full episode 2 like on her YouTube channel, and you can watch the full episode 1 for free on this like website. She's obviously like starting some sort of like website thing, which like whatever, you do your thing. I'm not going to pay to watch anything. And not something I can do my own research on. I'm not going to do that. So like free stuff I'll watch all day long. I'm not going to pay to watch anything. But I do want to go in and watch her episode 1. I'll probably do that later today. I'll probably do that. You know, I believe that. I also am under the understanding that hemp was one of the very first like agricultures. I really wish people would stop acting like that plant is so horrible, because if it can shrink a tumor cancer, you know, a cancer tumor into nothingness, and it can make a leukemia child be able to eat for the first time in months, and a Parkinson's patient stop shaking to the fact where they can actually feed themselves without getting food all over the place, I don't see the problem. I don't see the problem. Hey, Patty. Yeah, today is just a little bit everywhere because I've got like just a lot of thoughts in my mind, and a lot of the stuff I've been wanting to look at, and it's so like intertwined in all this UFO stuff. But there's just a lot here. Okay, let's see what this is about. Let's see. Again, this is 1949. Do not remove papers from this file. Department of the Army. Combined routing information, filing form, confidential. Subject, evaluation study of phenomenon, February 24th, 1949. Flying saucers. Somebody has pretty handwriting. None of these are checked off. Dispatch. Okay. These get smaller and smaller and smaller. I want y'all to be able to see it. Okay. Conversations with the chief of North American BR and office, Deputy Director P&O AE, reveal that P&O has not received any evaluation of the flying saucer type phenomenon. North Am BR, I'm not going to say the BR part. I don't know what the frick that even means. North American that feels that P&O and themselves in particular have a direct interest in this phenomenon because until it is properly evaluated, a possibility exists that this phenomenon may have foreign implication. Colonel Ligon, intelligence group in Idaho, I guess, ID maybe, suggests that this division request ID to make a study on this whole subject insofar as it pertains to continental U.S. ID will properly coordinate their efforts with the Air Force in this matter. Requesting evaluation study of phenomenon. References made to the following radios. Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico to Chief of Staff, United States Air Force, January 31st, 1949. So before the report, which obviously the event would have had to have taken place before the report. Let's see, February 8th, 1949, from Colorado, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base? No. From COAMC, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio, to CO Flight Service. Request that an evaluation study be made of the phenomenon referred to above, insofar as it concerns continental United States, and that a copy of the study be furnished to this division. And it's signed by John S. Guthrie. Cover sheet only. Okay, so this one's marked. The other one wasn't. Okay, so North American Records. And this one is signed by Colonel Peisinger. Okay, evaluation study. Yeah, we get it. But what are you evaluating? Can we get to the details here? This is all the same shit over and over again. Okay. Finally. Let's see what this says. The static here makes it like difficult. Okay. Evaluation study of phenomenon. Detailed investigations of all incidents reported to involve unusual flying objects during the period between June 1946 to date have been conducted by a special project group of Headquarters Air Materiel Command, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. The continuing efforts, turn this off, it's hurting my eyeball. The continuing efforts of this project are directed towards establishing the identity of each unusual object reported. Single or seemingly related incidents which appear to involve objects that might represent some unusual man-made device or activity are fully explored by both the AMC project personnel and other specialists, such as those of the RAND Corporation, formerly Project RAND. So, of some 210 incidents. So by the 40s, they had 210 incidents that they had reported. Kind of a lot. Approximately 20% have been explained. The majority of these involved misidentification of synoptic weather balloons. Others involved observations of airborne cosmic ray research equipment, bolides, meteors, and in one instance, the daylight observation of the planet Venus. Only 2 reported incidents were determined to have been a hoax. Interesting. To date, there has been no tangible evidence which would support a theory that any incidents are attributable to activity of a foreign nation. There are no highly secret experimental projects of the U.S. government that could be responsible. Sure, I know a lie when I read one. The possibility of foreign devices would represent achievements which defy many well-defined limits in aeronautical science. The Air Materiel Command of the U.S. Air Force is continuing investigations of each unexplained incident. In addition, they are utilizing the consulting service of a number of agencies and specialists. Results are reviewed in a continuing basis and are used in formulating probable explanations for sightings that still lack positive identification. The ID feels that if complete data were available, the remaining 80% of the reported sightings could be eliminated as due to natural meteorological phenomena or domestic weather balloons and the like. So whoever's writing this report is like, there's no aliens. Y'all just aren't even bothering to get like any research done and answer the question. You're like lazy is what I'm kind of getting here. The larger number of actual reports of unidentified objects is thought to be primarily due to the publicity given flying saucers in the public print and in some official circles. So they're gaslighting you. They're gaslighting the shit out of whoever wrote that report. I'll give you my email right here. Hold on. There it is. There it is right there. I mean, yeah. I wish Texas wasn't so stupid. I really wish Texas wasn't so dumb. I find remote viewing so freaking interesting too. Oh my God, yes. I sure the frick do. See, I could get some sort of prescription here in Texas for like my PTSD. It's like $300 to like see a doctor or whatever, but I just don't know like what kind of stuff they prescribe. Cuz I've had like, you know, in my lifetime, I didn't even for the first time till I was like 27, 28. It wasn't even after it was after my daughter's diagnosis. Cuz the guy that I was seeing at the time was like, you've got to do something. You're like going to give yourself a freaking heart attack. You've got to do something. And so that was like the first time. And it's been years since the last time I even had any of it. Okay. I know that my like back pain and my a lot would probably not be so severe. I can't risk like going and finding somebody. I just can't. I'm the only person my kids have. I can't. Cops are stupid. So I just don't. Sometimes I'll go down to like the smoke shop and get like those little pre-roll things of the like the legal stuff here. And it's just, I mean, it just smells fun. You know, it just smells like great bubble gum. It doesn't really do much of anything. It's really more of like a placebo effect, I think, you know, but if Texas would get its shit together, I think, you know, a lot of people would be a lot happier. I don't know why they play around with it so much. especially given all of the backed evidence, to scientifically prove the magic that it can work. The fact that our bodies have natural cannabinoid receptors is a huge thing that a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people don't know that. So I don't know. I might eventually get like the prescription thing because you can like do it all online, which again, I'm like, how is this regulations? Like, how is this the regulations? Like, you don't want people like growing it. You don't want it legal to where it can be sold in a store the way that it is in like every town around, every state else besides us and like very few others. But you'll let people just get it online where shit can be faked and false identification can be given and like so many things can be manipulated by just doing it online. It's just so much of a joke. It's all just a joke. Such a joke. It's legal with a prescription, technically, yeah. Because it's like $300 for the appointment. Like I've gotten all the like information on it. And it's like $300 for the appointment, and then like $200 a year to keep up you having the prescription. But I don't know how much they charge. I don't know how you like choose. Do they choose if it's prescribed to you, like the strain that they feel is the best for like your issues, the way that like a psych doctor would prescribe something specific for ADHD and then like something specific for like depression. Like I don't know how they do any of that stuff. And like I've never even been like, we don't really travel ever. So I've never even been to a state where it's like legal where you could like walk into a store and just like look at a shelf and like do all that. I don't know how it works. I don't know how it works. But see, like these are like online though, so I don't even know like where would I go, because like the nearest one to where I am is like a 4-hour drive, which is why like the majority of their stuff is like done online. So they actually do. See, that's what I kind of like figured. Like they would have to know, right? Like they would be the ones recommending things. Like yeah, that would make the most sense. No, there's no dispensaries. I mean, nothing that I've seen. Actually, you know what? I take that back. There might be one in Austin. I feel like there's one in Austin because Austin has some of the stuff going on for like what is it? Choice, whatever, the stuff for the veterans. I think there might be one in Austin. See, that's what I thought. Like it's literally just a way for them to get more money from people. You know what I mean? Especially since like you have to pay a couple $100 a year to like keep your certification. So like I have to pay you for you to tell me that I still have PTSD. No. And that's probably like another reason why I haven't really paid much attention to it and just been like, whatever, I'll just deal with life. I just feel like it's not the best way to be doing things for how crazy they're acting about it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I worked with a guy before before the pandemic and everybody went home. We all worked in office. And there was a guy, I mean, here in Texas, but he had a doctor that he had from like Colorado that was prescribing him like microdosing. And his like demeanor didn't change. Nothing about him changed except like he wasn't depressed anymore. Like he was always one of those people that were like, he has to be depressed because he's overly clownish. You know what I mean? Like the Jim Carrey type, the Robin Williams type, the one who always needs to make you laugh. It's usually those that are like really fighting inside, And he was like that. And he came, he just told us all about it. Like one day that he was getting psilocybin microdosing from a Colorado doctor. And it was the most freeing his mind has ever felt, and nothing stopped his production at work went up because he wasn't like I guess fighting all these thoughts in his head. I'm just like scared to try mushrooms in that way because I have high blood pressure, so I'm like really careful about everything that I try because I'm not trying to have a stroke. So even like the pre-rolls they have in Texas that have like it mixed in there, like I won't. I'm too scared. I won't do it. I just won't. I don't know what it'll do. And so I just don't do it. Under a doctor, something prescribed, maybe that'd be a little bit different. But I've heard like both. And of course, naturally, they come from the ground. They're things that they tell you to stay away from. Oh, they're just trash, basically. I mean, damn, even dandelions can do like so many things for your body. It's not even funny. It's amazing how they make us believe the pharmaceutical lie. And granted, there are certain things, obviously, that pharmaceuticals work wonders for. My daughter would not be alive today if it wasn't for certain pharmaceuticals. But my daughter also wouldn't have what she has today if it wasn't for the government messing around many, 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 many years ago. Like the dumbasses that they are. You know? Catch 22. Catch 22. All right, let's see if we actually get to any actual information here, because this is like 25 pages of repeated stupid nothing. Okay. Oh, April 18th, my birthday. 1949. Advises that any change in the evaluation contained in the enclosure subject will be promptly transmitted to RNO. Okay, but you're not giving us any information. See, this is the same thing from before. They want an answer, but they're not telling us the problem. The evaluation study of phenomenon at enclosure 1 here too represents the current intelligence division, GSUSA, evaluation of the flying saucers. With reference to paragraph 2 of comment number 1, GSGID recognizes the interest of defense planners in any object capable of being shot all the way from Russia, and will continue to keep the matter under scrutiny. Any change in the evaluation contained at enclosure number 1 will be promptly transmitted to GSGPO. GSGID is unable to verify Mr. Winchell's statement that flying saucers are now definitely known to have been guided missiles shot all the way from Russia. That's what they're trying to say? That's crazy, but okay. And has no information as to the basis for the statement or information on which it may have been based. It is, however, possible that Mr. Winchell published this item in an attempt to obtain some official statement from the NME on the subject. What subject? Can we get to what was actually reported? 49. March 7th, 1949, evaluate. If Mr. Winchell's statement is correct, then these flying saucers will be of tremendous interest to our national defense planners. Request that your division verify the accuracy of Mr. Winchell's statement and obtain, if possible, the source of his information. Finally, a report. Holy shit. Okay. They make you very happy. That's funny. Okay, then we finally get a report. Let's see. Bulletin. Prepared by the Analysis Branch, Public Information Division, Department of the Army for official use only. March 4th, 1949, 9:45 a.m. Pravda says State Department converted into Branch of General Staff. Moscow, Russia. I'm covering up a little bit. Let me move down some. And I'll just keep it scrolled at the top. Okay. Moscow, Russia. Loosed another blast at the Atlantic Treaty today, only a few hours before it was to be signed, charging that it seek to intimidate states unwilling to submit to Anglo-American dictation. The attack appeared in the official newspaper Pravda. It also accused the United States of stepping up the Americanization of Western European armies through a new military lend-lease. The whole continental military system is being converted into an integral part of the American military system under the leadership of the American General Staff, Pravda said. The export of... where am I at? Okay. The export of various arms and intensified preparation for aggression have become one of the most important tasks of American foreign policy. This task is under execution by the State Department, which U.S. ruling circles to an increasing extent are converting into a branch of the General Staff of the Armed Forces. Okay, but where are we going to get to the UFO? France wants to base defense of Western Europe on ELBE. Paris, France, is reported today seeking American backing for a plan to base defense of Western Europe on the Elbe River. Okay, on the Elbe River instead of the Rhine. Authoritative diplomatic sources said that French Foreign Minister Robert Schuman will put such a plan before U.S. officials during his current Washington visit to sign the Atlantic Pact. Lieutenant General George Revers, French Chief of Staff, is reportedly a strong backer of the... Okay, but what is the stuff about the UFOs? I don't care about none of this. This is all about national defense and military and going to Washington and having meetings and leaders. And where is the report of the UFO? Government official today assured all youths enlisting in armed forces that they are entitled to their old jobs when they are mustered out. This is not about UFOs. 10,000 military men will march in the Army Day parade on Wednesday. Cool. Okay. Eliminated Boers Armed Services, a minority group here in Berlin, feels Russians want to call off blockades. So this is basically just a bunch of information coming from overseas, because they think that the UFOs that they're discussing are missiles launched from Russia, is what I'm understanding here. I don't want to get into all this war information. This is not what we're here for. Yeah. American efforts to make the Germans more democratic have failed almost completely. That the Germans are openly talking about the need for a new leader to restore Germany to its former power. Yeah, we're not getting into all of that. So where's the UFO information? I guess that's it. They think it's missiles from Russia, and so they're just saying, yeah, this is everything happening in the war. Walter Winchell, the White House. The U.S. will withdraw its 1946 resolution condemning Franco at the UN and will resume diplomatic relations with Spain unless public opinion, that means you, stops it. Tomorrow, the newest airplane engine. It will give our biggest strategic bombers 2,000 miles more striking range. It is the Turbo Cyclone. It can carry our long-range atomic bombers around the world without refueling nonstop to Russia and back. Mr. Churchill did mention that fights are sometimes avoided because somebody dropped dead. My God. But that it is not what fighters who wants to win can ever count on. Mathematically, of course, peace still has a chance. The Atlantic Alliance. Yeah. Yeah, so basically he's saying that whatever they thought it would have been, they think that it was just Russian missiles. Okay, cool. Sure. Okay. Now let's see what this one is. This is number 3. Unresolved UAP report in Colorado Springs in 2022. So just 4 years ago. This FD 1057 contains a first-hand narrative description of UAP phenomenon reported near Colorado Springs, Colorado. All right. And of course, it's a little bit redacted. A forensic sketch interview. Was there a photo? Of freaking course not. Really? Why tell us it's a sketch interview and then not give us the sketch stuff? Okay. Rude, but all right. Move myself back up here. All right. Forensic sketch interview of blank on 7/24. Oh my God. So 2 years after it happened, they do a forensic sketch interview? Why wait so long? What? Okay. On June blank 2024. Blank, date of birth, blank, home address, blank, work address, blank, email address, blank, cellular phone, blank. was interviewed at 26 Federal Plaza, New York, 10278 by Special Agent blank and Operational Projects Unit Forensic Artist blank. After being advised of the identities of the interviewing individuals, blank provided the following information to aid in the forensic recreation of the unidentified aerial phenomenon and its activity observed over Cheyenne Mountain. On February blank at approximately 11:25 a.m., a former U.S. Army intelligence officer, along with 4 other members of his unit, observed a UAP over the Cheyenne Mountains as they exited their office building. Blank described the day as the perfect blue bird sky, as there were no clouds, little humidity, with a temperature of approximately 50 degrees Fahrenheit. The object was potato-shaped. So like that silver pill looking one that we've seen that looks kind of like a jelly bean. You guys seen that one? The object was potato-shaped with distinct edges and appeared to look painted in a creamy, whitish, opalescent color. Like a pearl then. It was somewhat translucent with a slight shimmer. I've had nail polish that looks like that. The object was made up of what can be described as articulating fish scales or panels that were non-symmetrical, non-overlapping, and irregular shaped. The object itself was perfectly still, but each panel on the object shifted in slow waves, starting at different points of origin, but at the same time. Like I can literally envision that in my head. That's kind of crazy. After approximately 2 minutes, the object vanished. Blank specifically stated that the object cloaked in the space of time it took to turn ahead, and there was no shadow. That's wild. Blank and initial sketch drafts are attached. No, they're not, you freaking lying shitheads. You freaking lying liars. Is this it right here? We got it. So what are they saying this is? Okay, this image is an artistic interpretation of a 2002 incident potentially involving unidentified blah, blah, blah UAP. So this is what the artist created. A potato shape with irregular scales like that. For real, though. Why do you think most of the doctors now work for NASA? Or came over here working for NASA from over there? Hey, Altruistic, how you doing? And they moved. Like the object was still, but the plates moved. Like I can see that in my head. Well, I'm glad they had the picture. Well, again, the rendering. But I don't comprehend why they waited 2 years to talk to this guy. Almost looks like a dragon egg, doesn't it? Right? Yeah, the Tic Tac. Cloaked like a cloud, yeah. Like Chicken Little. You know the movie Chicken Little? With the sky is falling, the sky is falling. It's like a literal hexagonal or whatever, like shaped plate that comes down. Yeah. Kind of like that. Hey, Kimberly. Kind of like Chicken Little. Okay. Let's see what else. So that was this digital rendering right here. So then we have something from 2006. Oh, no, this was released then. Okay, hold on. This is this interview took place this year. A February 2026 interview with a U.S. person in which they described incidents potentially involving UAP. Okay. Let's read it. Let's read it. This looks old as shit for only being 4 months old. That looks old as hell. Okay. On February blank 2026, blank was interviewed by blank and blank via video conference on Microsoft Teams. Also present for the interview were all these other redacted names. How many people is that? I mean, there's no commas, so you can't tell like at all. That's crazy. That's a lot of redaction. Okay. After being advised of the identity of the interviewing agents and the nature of the interview, Blank provided the following information. Blank received a bachelor's degree in economics and finance from Blank. Blank had previously worked as Blank. Blank then became unblank. Blank currently is the blank. Well, whoever the person is, their name is very tiny. Look at that. Little bitty name. Boop. Just a little boop. Okay. Blank was at Blank residence at Blank. Blank returned home that night at approximately 9:15 p.m. Eastern. As Blank was pulling into their driveway, which slopes downhill towards their residence, Blank noticed an intense bright light hovering below the tree line in the middle of their backyard. Blank got out of vehicle and stared at the strange light for a few moments before reaching back into Blank's vehicle to retrieve Blank's phone so Blank could take a video of what Blank was seeing. I think what they're doing here is not showing us the gender. I think what they're showing is a few moments before reaching back into his or her vehicle to retrieve his or her phone so he or she could take a video of what he or she was seeing. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a name. I mean, one of these might have been a name, but I think it's gender. I think it's gender that they're redacting. At the same time, Blank was sitting inside expecting Blank to arrive home. Blank checked the security cameras and saw Blank standing next to Blank's vehicle looking into the backyard. Blank then went outside to join Blank and see what Blank was looking at. Blank described the light as a red sphere that was about 1 meter in diameter. Blank described the red color as being brilliant and beautiful, and that Blank had never seen anything that color of red before. Blank stated that inside the red sphere at the center, there appeared to be what was described as a white plasma sun about the size of a basketball. So a huge red shade they've never seen before, ball of light with a white plasma basketball-sized ball of light on the inside of it. Okay. And as Blank and Blank watched, the orb moved up and to the left. Then they noticed there was a second identical orb hovering above the first one. The orbs then moved together towards the west above the tree line. Blank stated that from the start of the observation to what the orbs traveled out of sight, they exhibited both a change in altitude and a change in direction. The orbs were silent and moved in a smooth motion. They moved in tandem as if they were flying in formation or were tethered together. As they moved out of sight, Blank saw the orbs merge together into one orb, or were so close together they could have only been seeing one orb. Blank and Blank captured a video of the orbs beginning at the point when they were above the trees and moving away from their backyard. The video is contained as an attachment to this interview document. A few weeks later, Blank stated Blank saw several white orbs travel over Blank's house from the west to the east. These white orbs were traveling much higher in altitude than the prior red orbs. Blank described them as appearing the size of a dime held at arm's length, but like in the sky. Okay, I'm going to assume the attachment's over here. Hold on, let me make sure I'm looking at the right thing here. Okay, here's the video. And of course, it's crap. So, okay, this is, oh, maybe it's not crap. Okay, this is 49 seconds. I don't know if there's audio. But let's see. I don't hear anything, but I have it all the way up, so I guess there's not. Oh, there's no sound. They're moving so slow. Why would you put your camera back on the ground, though? Why would you do that? Is this the report? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're moving real slow. Now, this one is labeled as it's the same thing. It's the same thing. But see, the one that we just read right here is UAP's D009, but this one right here is UAP PR004, but also calls it D010, like D010. But it's the same one. Yeah, it's the same one. Okay. Okay, so we've looked at that one. We've looked at that one. Okay, so this is some sort of correspondence from 1949 again. A bit different. Okay. I don't know why I'm still holding this to my face. Okay, let's see. February 7th, 1980, copied. Declassification authority derived from FBI, May 27th, 2007. Copied March 1st, 1978. A church. This is from, oh, okay. First Presbyterian Church. Miniville? McMinnville? Okay, my eye just went weird. McMinnville. Yeah, McMinnville, Oregon. Reverend Charles C. Barnes, pastor. January 31st, 1949. Interesting. Okay. Written to Edgar Hoover himself. Here is a bit of information which may be of great significance or may be merely an observation of a scientific experiment. It may be known by military authorities and the AEC, or only a few may have seen it and none reported it to the right place. Here it is. Can you pass it on to the right persons? Last May, one afternoon, so almost a year ago. Seriously, this is being written in January. Okay. Last May, one afternoon, I saw 4 beams in the sky passing from the northwest to the southeast and converging in the Cascade Mountains. Something in my eyeball. In those 4 narrow beams, small clouds were forming, and where the beams met apparently against the mountains, a great explosion effect was to be seen. I would say that they were visible for at least 10 minutes or longer. The sight brought to mind an article read before the war about experiments carried on in Europe with various types of radio beams to affect rainfall. See, people think that like this this weather control stuff is like a newer thing because of technology, but if you've paid attention, you know that they've been messing around with this shit for, I mean, damn, 100 years now. This is definitely more proof of that. The site brought to mind an article, okay, blah, blah, blah. The Columbia River flood of last summer and the unusual precipitation this winter have forced me to feel that this observation of mine should be sent somewhere in the interest of national security. I have one son in the Air Corps and another working with the AEC at Hanford, which causes me to pray for peace, as well as the fact that as a minister, I deplore the waste and tragedy of war. That is one reason that I have refrained from passing on information and ideas that might incite warlike attitudes. May I add these words to paragraph 2? The explosion effects seem to rise to a height of about 10,000 feet. which is just a metaphor for I might be starting some shit, but here it is. So he saw 4 beams in the sky that looked like it was messing with the clouds. And it probably was. And then J. Edgar Hoover is reporting back to the guy saying that, yeah, hey, I got your letter. I have received your letter of January 31st, 1949, and want to thank you for sending the information with reference to the matter you mentioned. It was indeed thoughtful of you to communicate with me this connection. That's crazy that he like handwrote him a letter right back. Oh my God, this is going to be difficult. March 3rd, 1949. Why is it so messed up? Okay. A letter has been received from Reverend Charles. We already read his name. Advising that last May he observed. Oh no, he's saying there was an explosive effect. Did I miss something in what the guy said? Oh, yeah, I did, I guess. Right here. In those 4 narrow beams, small clouds were forming, and where the beams met, apparently against the mountains, a great explosion effect was to be seen. I would say that they were visible for at least 10 minutes or longer. Okay, so I misinterpreted what he said down here. So the beams he saw were like focused at a mountain, like a laser. And the laser beam exploded the mountain? Four beams in the sky passing from the northwest to the southeast and converging in the Cascade Mountains. In those 4 narrow beams, small clouds. Why is this messed up right here? Were forming, and where the beams met apparently against the mountains, a great explosion effect was to be seen. I guess maybe because it was a typewriter. I see it right here. I would say that they were visible for at least 10. Yeah, so like a laser beam exploding the mountain. And this is just saying that the Reverend requested the information be passed along. And that was it. Well, they must have, plenty of people must have felt like this was important because a lot of copies of this was made. And it was looked over quite a bit. Is there any attachments? No. Okay, so this next one is Orbs Over the Pond. It's a video. There's no report. It's just this thing right here. Or did I miss something? Hold on. Yeah, because this is 2025, so it's different. Okay. This one says in October. My face is going to be over it. Let me move it for a second. Right? Maybe. I don't know. Very odd. Very odd. On October 2024, at approximately 1851 local time in the northeastern United States, an eyewitness observed a light source below the horizon, hovering above a pond at an estimated distance of 2,700 feet. The luminous object resembled a plasma-like sphere, intermittently changing shape and luminosity. At times, the primary light source appeared to separate into smaller luminous points. A luminous point below the primary source hovered just above the water and did not appear consistent with a surface reflection. The object remained generally stationary for approximately 45 minutes before disappearing. The eyewitness did not hear any sound from the objects. This video was captured by a private citizen on an iPhone and subsequently analyzed and authenticated by the U.S. government. To protect the individual's privacy, the footage has been cropped. Okay. Apart from this privacy protective measure, no edits, enhancements, or alterations have been made to this visual content. Okay, well, I don't see an attachment for a report. This is 4 minutes and 26 seconds long. Is there any audio? I guess we're about to find out. Let's find out. No, and I have it up. Wait, is that 1 or is that 2? I just saw 2 lights. What are you doing? One more time. Maybe it's a reflection. Yeah, maybe it's a reflection thing. Maybe. See right here? So this is 4.5 minutes of like this happening? It's so very odd. It's definitely reflecting off of whatever this is. Is this supposed to be clouds? Because whatever, it's definitely like it's got light down here. This is weird. They're saying they didn't edit anything right here. This is not this. There's no way an iPhone took this crap. That's what I was about to say. Like they're saying like they didn't do anything to it. Why does it look like absolute shit if you didn't do anything to it? You freaking liars. It does look kind of like a water spirit, doesn't it? Like a little fairy light. I guess it's reflecting off of trees. Like that is such bullshit. Like I have these little like I think it was like $45 for 2 cameras that you stick on your like window, right? Even nighttime, my grass is so green, like it's a freaking light outside. These little shit cameras. And this is an iPhone in big old 2026, 2024, 25, it's 2020 something, 2020 something. And they're claiming they didn't do anything to it. Welcome, Nash. Thank you for joining over her. We're going to be going over this stuff every Sunday. And some maybe like during the week, if I don't have anything or I want to take a break from Idaho, we might come over here and do this. Because I've been wanting to go through all of these. I wish there was sound. Because, like, I know the person's like, oh, yeah, I didn't hear any sound from it. Well, how do we know? We can't hear. And I did make sure again that, like, it shows, like, volume, and there's just nothing. I guess there's no point in me holding that to my face. I don't know why I keep doing that. I mean, maybe it looks like crap because they're having to, like, hella zoom in, maybe? Is that it, maybe? I don't know how iPhones look when you have to, like, really zoom in. I know that, like, my camera is really good until I have to zoom in and then it gets a little grainy. So maybe it's just, like, hella zoom. I'll check in a minute here, Jesse. It doesn't let you, like, there's no report for this one. So I'll make it smaller here in a second and I'll reread what it says. But it didn't have a report attached to it. And I think it said 2024, but then the one underneath it said 2025. So unless they did something else with the person in 2025, I don't think that these two next to each other are related. But I didn't see a report for this one. There was a report for the red one. See, what this looks like is like, ooh. What the frick is it doing? It's like constantly tumbling. Are you guys seeing that? Like I know that like it's changing sizes. I don't know. Even the cheap iPhones are like really good. I think the person's just having to like zoom in a lot. This is weird. Look at the size change. It's like chaotic. And that was it. Hey, frustration speculation. How you doing? Hey, Sue. Yeah, but that's like that was some drastic size changes. Like it goes from tiny to just and then goes back to even smaller. Like that's and then it looked like wow, for a second it completely disappeared. Like, look how fast it's changing size. That's crazy. That's so cool. What the hell is it? Like, what is its own term for itself? You know what I mean? Like, what is it? It is crazy energy. This thing is everywhere. It's moving fast and it's like tumbling and it's changing sizes and it's changing its lights, like light frequency all at the same time. And like sometimes when it like does this big thing and then like goes back small, it almost looks like a piece of it like flies away from itself, if that makes any sense. That's just crazy to me, like the big, small, big, small, big, small. It's so fast. Whew. Okay. Yeah, October 2024. All this says is northeastern United States. It's not giving us an actual location. And there's nothing down here to show that there's a report. And the next thing is 2025, but it does say northeastern orb sighting. See, This is the, okay, see? This is the exact same video we just watched where these orbs were red and it was a color video. So why do they have this in here twice like it's a completely separate sighting and it's not? This is the exact same one that we just went over here. See? So I don't know why they're giving us a black and white version when we've already had the one that shows the red lights. That's kind of stupid. Okay, let's see. This document contains analysis by an all-domain anomaly resolution office, or ARO, intelligence community partner, to account for a 2022 incident involving an airborne object near Colorado Springs, Colorado. Okay, so this is a report about the scaly potato. I don't know how else to describe it. This is a report about the scaly potato. Redacted. Backscattering of sunlight. I hate when they come out and they try to pretend like these are some sort of like off the wall weather events or like celestial anomaly or whatever from like some planet or the sun that's never been talked about before. It's never, ever, ever, ever been taught to you in school that it's a possibility. There's no reports on this ever being a thing ever in history. And suddenly, what people are seeing in the sky is some phenomenon. No, it ain't. Shut up. You're making shit up. An airborne object over Cheyenne Mountain in February 2022 was possible backscattering of sunlight. And then the entire thing is redacted except for down here. Okay. I'm so tired of them. They're so stupid. Okay. An airborne object over Cheyenne Mountain, Colorado, was observed by 5 U.S. Army service members at Fort Carson, Colorado, at 9:35 Mountain Time on February 15, 2022, was possibly backscattering of sunlight. Blank has low confidence in this assessment based on uncertainty in the field of view of each witness, amount of snow cover, and exact elevation and amount of cloud cover. So you're just going to pretend like something's just hovering there. It's just magically like back reflecting off of something like imaginary, invisible, a potato-shaped invisible thing that it's reflecting off of. I can't. No anomalous data or characteristics were recorded or assessed, and the event did not represent an unknown adversarial capability. According to the accounts of 5 U.S. Army service members, on 15 February 2022, an airborne object was observed approximately 6 miles to the west over and slightly behind the Cheyenne Mountain silhouette for approximately 30 to 180 seconds. Okay. The witnesses described the object as roughly the size of a large jet and resembling an angular, non-symmetrical potato. That's so funny. Potato. Made of uneven panels, which was completely stationary about 300 to 500 feet above Cheyenne Mountain while slowly changing shape. It had a slightly translucent, shimmering white appearance with defined edges and a milky shimmer that reflected sunlight. The witnesses noted that the sky was clear, and despite keeping their eyes on the object, it suddenly disappeared. At 9:45 Mountain Time on the same day in Colorado Springs, the sun was positioned at an altitude of 27.5 over the horizon in the southeast sky and roughly at an azimuth of 125, casting shadows toward the northwest and providing soft angled light. According to historical, what? I'm trying to make this part right here make some sense, but for some reason my brain is like there's a word missing. According historical, the National Water and Climate Center reporting. According to historical, National Water and Climate Center reporting is probably how that should have gone. According to the historical, National Water and Climate Center reporting. I don't know. Something's wrong with that damn fragment of a sentence. Anyway, snow depth on Cheyenne Mountain likely ranged from 6 to 12 inches. Likely means you don't know, and you're giving your assessment based off of information that you're not positive about. But go on. Although witnesses report clear blue skies, multiple weather reports, including those from AFWA and Weather Underground, indicated the presence of clouds, suggesting that the skies were partly to mostly cloudy that morning. Analysis possibly indicates that the positioning of the sun in relation to Cheyenne Mountain would allow for backscattering of sunlight reflecting off of snow-covered ground. This reflection could illuminate low-level clouds in the vicinity, which might account for the visibility of the object followed by its sudden disappearance. It is possible that either the clouds or the sun shifted slightly, causing the reflection to vanish. Blank has low confidence in this assessment. I do too. Based on uncertainty in the field of view of each witness and exact level of cloud cover. Analysis note. Altostratus clouds are a kind of mid-level cloud known for their consistent gray or blue-gray appearance. These clouds usually developed at altitudes ranging from 6,500 to 23,000 feet and can create a dense uniform layer across the sky or thin and wispy. Which one? Which one? Are they dense and uniform, which means solid, or are they thin and wispy, which means not so solid? Which one is it? While they often appear opaque, altostratus clouds can permit some sunlight to pass through, resulting in a luminous effect. Typically, the presence of altostratus clouds suggests that precipitation is imminent, as they may bring light rain or snow. Backscattering is the phenomenon where sunlight reflects off the snow-covered ground and reflects upward, scattering through the atmosphere and illuminates low-level clouds. This is especially noticeable when the sun is low over the horizon. No aircraft or balloons were noted active in or around Cheyenne Mountain during the time the witnesses saw the airborne object. They always trying to make up some shit, bro. They try to make up anything other than what it could possibly actually be, just to be able to calm their little human brains. Is this the same thing? Yeah, UAP from Colorado. Okay, let's see. What's this? This file contains memorandums and correspondence related to flying disc/saucer sightings, and that those are a matter of concern for the Air Material Command. Okay. 28 pages. Air Material Command. December 19th, 1947. Flying discs. confirming the recent conversation of the undersigned with Major General L.C. Craigie, December 9th, 1947, attached as listed below are copies of the reports from this headquarters concerning flying discs. Analysis of flying disc reports, 2 included. Okay. Let's see what this says. Is NORAD in those mountains? No idea. No idea. It seems like a lot of you do, yeah. I mean, they're definitely hiding in them damn clouds, okay? Like, we know they're here. The government's now admitting that we've been right all along. They definitely use clouds for cover. Definitely. Okay. Let's see what this says. Reference is made to 3 enclosures. Memoranda from your office to this headquarters, subject as above. It is Air Force policy not to ignore reports of sightings and phenomenon in the atmosphere, but to recognize that part of its mission is to collect, collate, evaluate, and act on information of this nature. In implementing this policy, does that mean that you're supposed to report stuff that you see in the sky to the United States Air Force? I mean, that kind of would make some sense, right, actually? In implementing this policy, it is desired that the Air Material Command set up a project whose purpose is to collect, collate, evaluate, and distribute to interested government agencies and contmators? Contmators? Is that what that says? What the frick is a contmator? What? Contemptor? Is that what that says? No. Contractors? Contractors. Oh my God. I can barely read it because it's freaking typewriter and then it's messed up. That's an R and an A. Okay. Contractors makes more sense. Okay. Contractors, all information concerning sightings and phenomenon in the atmosphere, which can be construed to be of concern to national security. Why is there something to click right here? Ooh, not found. That was weird. Y'all saw that? Like, you go all the way around like this and there's nothing there, but you go to the word falls, and the word falls has some sort of hyperlink in it that doesn't go to anything. What in the actual government bullshit is that? I probably just downloaded some sort of virus to my computer. Who knows? The government's going to do what the government's going to do. Anyway, it is desired that appropriate recommendations be forwarded to this headquarters wherever action is indicated which falls outside the field of the Air Material Command. It is suggested that the activities of this project include the preparation and distribution of an initial report as recommended in Enclosure 1, and that subsequent reports be issued on a quarterly basis. Supplementary reports should be issued at more frequent intervals should the need for same be indicated. This project is assigned priority 2A with a security classification of restricted and code name of SIGN, S-I-G-N. Their data, that's a W, where data of a classification higher than restricted is handled by the project's, much data should be classified accordingly. A complete interchange of data should be effected as recommended in Enclosure 1. Lots of dates, lots of different names. Marks appearing in the photographs enclosed in basic letters are believed to be defects in the film, paper, or camera, and not pictures of flying discs. So now they're claiming that whatever they're writing reports on, it's photographical defects. It's not actual UFOs. I guess we'll see. It is requested that no further investigation be made of this incident. Can we see them? No, the next one right here. I was trying to see if there was like an attachment. Is there an attachment down here? No. And this one is for a different year. Okay, maybe they'll have something down here. That is 28 pages. I guess we'll see. Same thing. Mary L. Heron, 3 inclusions, I guess is what this stands for. Okay. December 5th, 1947. The attached photographs were forwarded to the office by a very reliable source of information obtained from a Mary L. Heron. Oh my God. Giving her address out and everything. She advises these photographs were taken sometime between November 5th and 12th, 1946, in the vicinity of Jefferson, Oregon, and points out the information in the photographs as being objects she did not recall seeing herself, but she thought might possibly be flying discs. The objects referred to appear in the sky area of each accompanying photograph. The uniformity of the markings would tend to indicate that the camera or film used to take these pictures was possibly defective. No incidents of flying discs have been reported from that vicinity on or about the inclusive dates named above. Ms. Heron has requested the return of the negatives. If desired, this office will obtain the negatives and forward them at your request. I'm just going to scroll real quick so I can see if they actually supply any note. Now, why the hell would you have this long-ass report talking about pictures with no pictures? That's annoying. Okay, so November 18th, 1947, it seems we're going backwards. Wright Field, Dayton, Ohio. The enclosed newspaper clippings are submitted for your information and comment. The incident reported in Seattle appeared in the Dayton Journal on 12 November 1947 and should be followed up if possible. The story by Lionel Shapiro regarding war weapons developed in Spain evidently has printed in a number of leading newspapers throughout the country. The significance of this article will be dependent on certain essential elements for such alleged important developments, such as funds, materials, experimental testing facilities, and technological know-how. The latter is supposed to be supplied by German scientists. The German scientists at this headquarters indicate that no important scientists from Germany are working in Spain, and those mentioned in this article are not known to them. Again, it honestly doesn't surprise me that we're hearing a lot about German stuff in this stuff. If you know about Operation Paperclip, then you know why that's not shocking. The latter is supposed to be supplied by German scientists. The German scientists at this blah blah. I read that part already. Okay. If possible, therefore, an effort should be made to obtain names, qualifications, or any information that might help to identify the alleged German scientist working in Spain. But y'all just said there was none, but okay. A brief statement was made in a recent intelligence report from headquarters, United States Air Force, regarding a flying disc incident in Alaska in September. The close-range sighting reported should render a more detailed observation than what was reported, which also suggests a follow-up. It is further requested that this office be advised as to progress being made on the plotting of all flying disc incidents to date, particularly in North America. It was understood that Dr. Carroll was going to plot these incidents, but no further word was received regarding this effort. And that's it. Oh, okay. Reference letter subject as above, dated 18 November 1947. It is requested that immediate action be taken to appropriately mark or stamp this correspondence with the classification secret. This classification number is as follows. So they didn't want anybody getting this out. Okay. September 23rd, 1947. As requested by ACAS2, there is presented below the considered opinion of this command. Oh, I'm not even showing it. My bad, guys. Of this command concerning the so-called flying discs. This opinion is based on interrogation report data furnished by ACAS2 and preliminary studies by personnel of T2 and Aircraft Laboratory Engineering Division T3. This opinion was arrived at in a conference between personnel from the Air Institute of Technology, Intelligence T2, Office Chief of Engineering Division, and the Aircraft Power Plant and Propeller Laboratories of Engineering Division T3. It is the opinion that the phenomenon reported is something real and not visionary or fictitious. There are subjects probably approximating the shape of a disc of such appreciable size as to appear to be as large as man-made aircraft. There is a possibility that some of the incidents may be caused by natural phenomena such as meteors. The reported operating characteristics, such as extreme rates of climb, maneuverability, particularly in roll, and action which must be considered evasive when sighted or contacted by friendly aircraft and radar, lend belief to the possibility that some of the objects are controlled by either manually, automatically, or remotely. And look at this, another one. I'm gonna click them all. I don't give a shit. I'm about to get a new computer. It's not doing anything. It's just weird. Why is it there? Why is that clickable? Okay. The apparent common description of the object is as follows: metallic or light reflecting surface. Absence of trail, except in a few instances when the object apparently was operating under high performance conditions. Circular or elliptical in shape, flat or bottom and domed on top. Several reports of well-kept formation, flights varying from 3 to 9 objects. Normally, no associated sound, except in 3 instances, a substantial rumbling roar was noted. Level flight speeds normally above 300 knots are estimated. It is possible within the present U.S. knowledge, provided extensive detailed development is undertaken, to construct a piloted aircraft, which was the general description of the object in subparagraph E above, which would be capable of an approximate range of 7,000 miles at subsonic speeds. Any developments in this country along the lines indicated would be extremely expensive, time-consuming, and at the considerable expense of current projects, and therefore, if directed, should be set up independently of existing projects. Due consideration must be given the following: the possibility that these objects are of domestic origin, the product of some high-security project not known to ACAS-2 or this command. And honestly, let's be so serious. Just like we see in the criminal cases that we follow on the main channel, there's a lack of communication between every single one of these departments. When you also have a medical issue, there is a lack of communication between departments. When there's anything, any system, there's a lack of communication between all of them. All of them. There are so many things the government is doing that the government does not know the government is doing. You know? So all kinds of shit goes down. People are wondering what the hell's happening because people are witnessing certain things, and so they start reporting certain things. And because there's no communication, there will be departments that start investigating these things. Whole time, it's a whole government situation. Same thing goes down when it comes to like cops. These undercover situations, how many times has it been like some sort of jurisdiction issue? Because there's some sort of sting operation happening, and then another cop department starts getting wind of some crazy shit going on, and they got a snitch coming in and being like, yeah, well, this is what's the word on the street, blah, blah, whatever. So they start doing their own investigation. Whole time it's a whole undercover thing, and it gets all screwed up and some crazy shit happens. It doesn't just happen on TV. The lack of communication is a problem everywhere. So for them to be saying this in this report, yeah, there's all kinds of shit the government does that the government doesn't know the government's doing. So that completely makes sense to me for why they would instantly think, hey, it's a possibility, it's us, and we just don't know because we don't have the clearance. Makes a lot of sense, actually. The lack of physical evidence in the shape of crash-recovered exhibits, which would undeniably prove the existence of these objects. Well, now we know that they're telling us that they have it. Not just that, but they're telling us that biologics were found like in the ships. But that's just what they're telling us. We know already that like they definitely shake hands with these beings every day. Let's be so serious. They're just telling us the little bits that they can. Or let me put it this way. They're telling us the bits that they've been given permission. And by them, I mean our humans have been given permission to release these things. This isn't on their own. Don't think it's on their own. The possibility that some foreign nation has a form of propulsion, possibly nuclear, which is outside of our domestic knowledge. It is recommended that Headquarters, Army, Air Forces issue a directive assigning a priority security classification and code name for a detailed study of this matter to indicate the preparation of complete sets of all available and pertinent data, which will then be made available to the Army, Navy, Atomic Energy Commission, JRDB, the Air Force Scientific Advisory Group, NACA, and the RAND and NEPA projects for comments and recommendations, with a preliminary report to be forwarded within 15 days of receipt of the data and a detailed report thereafter every 30 days as the investigation develops. A complete interchange of data should be effected. Awaiting a specific directive, AMC will continue the investigation within its current resource in order to more closely define the nature of the phenomenon. Detailed essential elements of information will be formulated immediately for transmittal through channels. N.F. Twining, Lieutenant General, USA. Interesting. Okay. Now we have December 23rd. A couple days different, or is that what is the date for that one? Same day. This one's going to be hard to read. Okay. AMC opinion concerning flying disc. This looks like it might be some of the same. Is this the same? This is the same. I'm not reading it twice, that's for sure. This letter was coordinated by Colonel Moore. All these names, and they're hard to read. Okay. September 24th. So this is the next day. In compliance with General McDonald's telephone conversation, this date to Colonel H.M. McCoy, T2, Headquarters, AMC, attached herewith is a copy of a drawing entitled Lodig Flying Disc, designated LD2. Because of patent rights involved, it is requested that a record be kept of all persons reviewing this drawing by witnessing with signatures and dates directly on the drawing. I wish they attached this stuff. It's annoying. This drawing should be returned to the office when it has served its purpose, so it can be returned over to the patent office headquarters, AMC, for official record. Hey, Miller Time, you found me over here. Hi, guys. How y'all doing? How you doing? Thank you for joining us over here. Hey, P1111. Yeah, probably not. I've missed a lot of you guys that came in here. Well, welcome in. We're getting off of here in about 15-ish minutes or so. I'm going to start doing these. Me too. I feel you, bro. I feel like today is definitely a nap day. I'm going to try to get a little power nap in at some point today. We're going to be doing this every Sunday from 8:45 to 10:45 to go through all of these files that they released. They're on release number freaking 3. Because your girl's always behind in some shit. So we're starting today. And if there's just sometime during the week where I need a brain cleanse from Idaho, we might pop one of these in here on a Wednesday or a Thursday, maybe just to go through some stuff. But definitely every single Sunday. Can't sleep, been up all night. I feel you there too. I've been like that for the past couple of weeks. Honestly. But I feel like our issues are definitely different. I feel like mine are premenopausal, and you're definitely not that because you're a dude. So it's completely different, but I totally get the not being able to sleep and just feeling like a zombie. That's how I feel most of the time. Hopefully tonight you get some rest. So that Monday's better. Okay, let's see. This drawing should be returned to the office when it served its purpose. Enclosed herein is also a report prepared by the Royal Aircraft Establishment, technical note Aero 1703, which describes the Horton tailless aircraft. The following references are invited, which is considered significant in relating the Horton brothers' perspective, thinking, and accomplishments towards the alleged flying saucer case. And then it's just like, okay. So those are the only pieces they want people to look at. Can we not have the whole thing? Can we not have the whole thing? I mean, it seems like it's big. Over 70-something pages. They also want that document returned when they're done. A recent report from the U.S. military attaché, Moscow, USSR, dated June 9th, 1947, indicates that 1,800 aircraft, directly or indirectly based on the Horton design 6-engine pusher, having a wing spread of 131 feet and a gross weight of approximately 33,000 pounds, are being built for bomber squadron use. The Russian version, however, is jet-propelled. Reference report whose indication number is V32291-8. The T2 report, German flying wings designed by Horton brothers, also enclosed herewith, may be retained by your office if desired. So are they trying to say that they feel like these bomber planes are what people are saying might be the UFOs? Regarding German scientists. October 28th, 1947. It is going backwards. Department of the Air Force Headquarters, Washington, 25 DC. Washington, 25 DC. I've never seen it like that before. That's weird. A representative of this headquarters has contacted Lieutenant Colonel Abear. Actually, no, this would be first name, so it's Herbert. C.G. concerning Miss Merchant's theory on the flying disc as expressed to General Brentnall. It is recommended that no action be taken to interrogate Miss Merchant and that this case is closed. October 13th, 1947. Attached copies of communication are self-explanatory and indicate action taken to obtain additional information regarding subject. Assistance shown from Lieutenant Colonel Herbert C.G. was with reference to the social standing and character of Miss Merchant to determine justification for further investigation of her theories. That's so insane. Y'all know who Admiral Byrd is, right? So Admiral Byrd was someone obviously high up in, I don't remember the branch. He was a pilot. He was flying at the time of this story, but I don't remember if it was Air Force or Army or whatever. I don't remember. But the story for Admiral Byrd is that he was flying. There was like one other person with him, I believe. He was flying over this like mountain, and like something ended up happening, and like the inside of the mountain was sort of like journeyed to the center of the earth, where it's like a whole nother ecosystem. And he went on like interviews and went on like cable TV interviews, like talk show interviews, late night interviews and stuff like that, like in his full like gear with his medals and everything on. And they basically just try to make him sound like he was like crazy. They basically try to act like he didn't have, like he was really, really, really high regarded until he started coming out and telling his story that they didn't want him to tell. And then suddenly he was a clown. He was crazy and they were trying to completely discredit him. I don't know why, for some reason, what they just said about this lady just made me remember that story. They only care about this woman's social standing and her character before they can go in and see if there's any reason to take her seriously. Well, even if she had social standing, you didn't like what she had to say, you'd call her a cuckoo bird. So what does it matter? In view of Lieutenant Colonel G's transfer to Washington, D.C., it is suggested that a representative from headquarters contact and interview him. General Brentnall stated that Miss Merchant was extremely talkative and seemed quite intent on promoting a personal enterprise instead of cooperating to help solve an intelligence problem. Okay. Comments and suggestions, therefore, regarding further action to interrogate Miss Merchant would be appreciated in order to close this case as soon as possible. Okay. October 13th, 1947, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but something about Las Vegas. This is Merchant's story that they, need to make sure that she's a proper standing citizen before they take her seriously. Right? Yeah, his diary. Admiral Byrd's diary. We should do a video on Admiral Byrd. That's a whole crazy story. General Britnall, during a recent visit at Las Vegas, was contacted by a Miss Madeline Gwynn Merchant, Santa Fe, New Mexico, who described what may be termed a novel theory concerning flying discs. According to her theory, flying discs are being fired from a locality in central Mexico from a laboratory which is being operated by the Russians. She claims they are being aimed at the United States for the purpose of sighting in on important atomic energy and aircraft installations. Nuclear and atomic energy, there's a whole story about that and how, what was it? Was it during the Holocaust War? I can't remember which war it was. But there's separate stories there too. And I think this was over Russia, where there were some ships, some like UAP, UFO type ships. I hate the term UAP. It's so stupid. Can we just keep it UFO? Okay, we're just going to keep it UFO. There was some UFO sightings, I believe, over Russia during one of the wars. And there was also something that happened where there was like some conversations that took place. It might have been the Admiral Byrd thing. We're going to have to just do like a deep dive on it. But anyway, I could have sworn in one of those instances, there was like a conversation had between whoever had like the aircraft and like the humans that were seeing it about how like we were never supposed to have nuclear power, nuclear technology, and that some other being had apparently like warned this being that we were speaking to at the time that would be like a huge problem if the surface dwellers, because they apparently like live underground, if the surface dwellers ever got a hold of like nuclear tech. And when they found out we had nuclear tech, they kind of came out to like take a look and see, holy shit, they really have nuclear tech. I don't know. I've always believed that story because I don't believe that we're supposed to have all this power. We're too stupid. As a race, we're too ignorant, we're too immature, we're too self-absorbed, we're too conceited. We don't need it. I mean, look what we do with it. Everyone like literally could be obliterated off the planet in 2.7 seconds just because somebody's having a bad day. Nothing like that should exist. Nothing like that should exist. Okay. General Britnall states that he does not have any further interest in an interrogation of Miss Merchant, since it is not an engineering matter. However, he recommends that if Headquarters Air Material Command T2, and see another one, can I click it? No, it doesn't do anything. Wishes to sponsor an interrogation of this nature, that Colonel Howard Bunker should be contacted to determine the name and address of the colonel at Las Vegas who has knowledge of this case. In view of General Britnall's suggestion, no direct contact will be made with Miss Merchant. It is requested, therefore, that the name and address of the above-mentioned colonel be made available to this office as soon as possible so that further action is deemed advisable can be taken. So she was saying that there was a lab in central Mexico. She's in New Mexico. She is saying there was a lab in central Mexico that was firing flying discs. I guess what she means is like they were, no, she meant that. Claims they are being aimed at the United States for the purpose of sighting in on important atomic energy and aircraft installations. Yeah, I don't know how you would know that anyway. From New Mexico, but okay. I mean, some people really are just kind of crazy, you know? Not everybody is seeing things that are real. And some people will go to the ends of the earth to report information that's not true. And we've seen that in the Idaho case. Until they're blue in the face. Kirkland Field, Albuquerque, New Mexico, October 2nd, 1947. The officer referred to in paragraph 3 is Lieutenant Colonel Herbert C.G., who was formerly commanding officer at Los Alamos rather than Las Vegas, as stated. Lieutenant Colonel G is now stationed in the Office of Chief of Engineers, Civil Works Division, Washington, D.C. No replacement for Lieutenant Colonel at Los Alamos, and no information is available to indicate that any individual in this vicinity has more information concerning Miss Merchant's theory than Brig General Brentnall of AMC, who personally conducted an interview with her. Okay, more flying disc stuff. Flying saucers. October 8th, 1947. Attached here to is information requested in basic letter. But this goes back to September 24th, 1947. This is different, though. It is requested that this office be furnished all available information concerning an alleged flying saucer flight sighting made by a radar station in Japan. This incident was mentioned by Dr. Charles Carroll during a conference in Brig Gen Shulgin's office, attended by Mr. A.C. Loading on September 5th, 1947. Okay, so this is being written on September 11th, 1947. As arranged verbally with Mr. Loading, enclosed is the complete file maintained by this office on reported sightings of flying discs. This file is forwarded so that photostat may be made in order to provide your command with a duplicate set of these sightings. When photostating this material for your purpose, it will be appreciated if one extra set is made for this office and returned at the same time the originals were returned. This file and the duplicates should be returned as soon as possible to this headquarters. Now this looks very modern compared to all of this. May 20th, 1944. But then this says August 22nd, 1947. But look up here. 3 years before? You know what? I ain't got the time. We're just going to read it. Oh my God. Okay. From a detailed study of certain reported observations on the flying saucers, selected for their veracity and reliability, it is apparent that several aspects of their appearance have a common pattern. Before pursuing its investigation of these objects any further, this office requests assurance that no research project of the Army Air Forces at present being last flown, I'm assuming it says last flown, has the following characteristics, and that it may therefore be assumed the recent flying saucer mystery is not of United States origin. Surface is metallic, indicating a metallic skin at least. Indicating a metallic skin? They're talking about something flying in the sky, and their skin is the word that they're choosing to use here. Okay. When a trail is observed, it is a lightly colored blue-brown haze, similar to a rocket engine exhaust. Contrary to a rocket of the solid type, one observation indicates that the fuel may be throttled, which would indicate a liquid rocket engine. As to shape, all observations state that the object is circular or at least elliptical, flat on the bottom and slightly domed at the top. Yeah, that's okay. So that's like your typical UFO. The little one that you see on every magnet and every little cartoon, the little flat round donut with the top dome on the top. So I'm wondering if the ones that have like a middle that's hollow and they don't have a dome, like if it's bigger and they like work around the inner workings of like the big circular part, like maybe they can walk around that damn thing and they don't need a little bubble in the middle. You know, I don't know. Size estimates place it somewhere. Size estimates place it somewhere near the size of a C-54 or constellation as they would appear while flying at 10,000. What the frick is a C-54? Let's see what that looks like. C-54 aircraft. It's a 4-engine military transport aircraft. That big thing. So that looks like the ones that are like basically everybody gets in like the belly of it and they transport shit tons of people at the same time. That's what those seem like. I could be wrong on that, but that's what that seems like. Let's see. Flights have been reported containing from 3 to 9 objects, flying good formation on each other with speeds always above 300 knots. The discs oscillate laterally while flying along, which could be snaking. Okay. August 5th, 1947. The Army Air Force has no research project with the characteristics described in comment number 1. And that's it. See, I really hate that they didn't add photographs. Those are cargo planes? Yeah, I figured that. Bro, Trump is acting like a crazy person with this alien stuff. Have you seen all the like White House Twitter posts that have happened of him like walking around with aliens with chains on? There's another one that came out like day before yesterday. He was either yesterday or day before yesterday. And he's like standing outside of what looks to be the White House. And there's these 2 people that look like the people from Games of Thrones, or the I don't know the name of them, the blonde people. It looks like those people. But they've also told us that's one of the like 4 or 5 species that are literally walking amongst us look like that. They're these tall, pale-skinned, blue-eyed, white, not blonde, white-haired creatures. And there's a picture of him outside the White House talking to 2 of them, and it was online for all of like 2 seconds before it was removed. And he's just been throwing pictures all over the place of all kind of weird shit. Like the biggest just trolling situation ever. And I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And it's so AI. Like I showed my son, I was like, yeah, but zoom in. Like on the one of the alien, like it had chains on its hands, but then like the chain didn't actually connect. And I'm like, why are we doing AI alien stuff? Like we know it's real. Why are we doing AI alien stuff? It's just it's like I just don't understand like the what you call it? I guess like the little bit of baiting coming with that. It's unnecessary in my opinion. It's kind of making a mockery sort of, of everything that's going on right now, with the alien stuff. Let's see what this one is. And this will probably be the last one for today since it's already almost 11. What time is my live on my other channel? I think I have it for like 1 something. Let me see. Make sure real quick. Because I want to be able to finish at least everything on this first page. $1:45. Okay, good. We've got time to finish this one. Okay. So this is, again, something about flying disc. It looks like it's probably from around the same time frame. Is this the same damn thing? I mean, it's 28 pages. Is it the same shit? No, it's different, I guess. Okay, so June 14th, 1948. So we're a year later. Wright Patterson Air Force Base, Dayton, Ohio. Okay. I still don't know. Have y'all ever seen them do this before? Instead of it just saying like Washington, D.C., have y'all ever seen it typed out Washington 25 D.C.? They've done that in a lot of these. And I've never seen it like that before. In compliance with paragraph LA, ADC letter 45-5, 25 March 1948, the following information relative to flying discs is hereby submitted. The attached report was received this headquarters 27 May 1948 for Special Agent D.K. Brown, Federal Bureau of Investigations, Cleveland, Ohio. This headquarters has no further information and is not initiating any investigation in accordance with a paragraph 2 ADC letter 45-5. Any additional information received by this headquarters will be immediately forwarded to your headquarters. Copies of report have been forwarded to HQ Air Material Command and HQ Air Defense Command as directed in above mentioned directive. Location and time of sighting: Hobson, Ohio, night of May 8th, 1948. Weather at the time unknown by headquarters. Names, occupations, addresses of witnesses, photographs of objects unavailable, unknown. Sketches of objects configuration, unknown. Objects sighted, number, not known. Shape, round. Size, appeared to be 9 inches in diameter from ground level. Okay. Color, phosphorescent. Speed, a great amount of speed. Heading, 90 degrees. Maneuverability, not known. Altitude, 6 to 8 miles. Sound, unknown. Exhaust trail or not. Phosphorescent trail in the sky. Okay. Dispatched through TS Control Office by Special Officer Courier? That looks like that's an I. See, this is also talking about the German flying wings designed by the Horton brothers. December 24th. Yeah, this is more talking about like the aircraft stuff that we just read about the C-54. I mean, not the C-54. The one we read about how they're making a German bomber plane. That's the same report. We're not reading it again. May 13th, 1948. Clippings service for Project Sign. Okay, they did mention that in the other report. Forwarded in accordance with paragraph 4 of letter cited in basic communication. Okay, but are you going to give us some information here? What? This is just a bunch of dumb shit. The attached information is forwarded in compliance. Cool. Can we get to the actual information, please? Is what we're doing? Okay. Is this the same thing? Yeah, this is just like a protocol letter of like what they're supposed to do. This is the same thing from before. Collect, collate, evaluate, and act. It's the same thing. Just collect, collate, evaluate, and act. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Air Force installations and outside zone of interior in Alaska have been instructed to report all sightings or information concern. See, another one. Oh, this one clicks. Does it do something? What's it going to do? It's just spinning. Oh, God. Just stop. I don't know what it's going to do. Okay. All Air Force installations within an outside zone of interior in Alaska have been instructed to report all sightings or information concerning sightings which comes to their attention, direct to the Commanding General, Air Material Command, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Dayton, Ohio. Air Material Command has been authorized direct contact with all Air Force installations whenever required to develop additional information on the flying discs. It is requested that all Department of the Army installation also be instructed to report such occurrences directly to Air Material Command, and that they be informed that Air Material Command is authorized to contact them directly when necessary in connection with such occurrences. Okay, that's just like normal. Can we get to the freaking information though? I want the story. Okay, I think we finally have one. Okay, incident reported March 9th, 1948. This headquarters per telephone call from Sergeant A.M. Larson, Sheriff's Office, Bakersfield, California. Observation by Miss Les Buckner, Bakersfield, California, of two objects falling to Earth from unknown sources on March 5th, 1948, between 1610 and 1655 hours. Description of objects similar to falling aircraft with smoke and debris trailing. Observation made at Bakersfield with objects sighted southwest towards Buena Vista Lake, California. Observation by Mr. Denio, employee of the Pacific General Electric Company, Bakersfield, California, of two objects was fell to Earth from unknown sources north of Bakersfield, California, March 8, 1948. One subject seemed to be on fire with red and black smoke trailing behind. Informant Larson stated that searching parties, aircraft, and rescue units have made numerous attempts to locate these reported objects without success. Investigation of incident has been initiated by this headquarters. Reports will follow. So two of them falling to the earth, and one of them looks like it had been caught on fire. I wonder if the other one shot it down. So this is March 17th, 1948. References made to Colonel McCoy's informal proposal that certain fighter aircraft be maintained on a continuous alert status within the zone of the interior to aid in gathering information on flying discs. This proposal is considered unfeasible for the following reason. The outlay of aircraft and personnel would be too great in relation to the results obtained. Proper interception is not possible except by accident without complete radar coverage. The Air Force is incapable of providing such coverage. It is doubtful if fighter aircraft would be able to follow up reports emanating, for the most part, from civilian sources. Yeah, that word works. Okay, let's see what this is. Director Plans and Operations, February 12th, 1948. By a letter from this headquarters dated December 30th, 1947, with subject as above, the Commanding General Air Material Command is instructed to set up a project whose purpose is to collect, collate, evaluate, and distribute to interested government agencies and contractors all information concerning sightings. We read this already. That's where I had an issue trying to read that word. The Commanding General Air Material Command feels that the responsibility assigned to him for collecting and developing information and intelligence on the flying discs should be complemented by a requirement that all Air Force installations in the United States and Alaska is part of the United States. So why are we talking about it like that? Provide a minimum of one each fighter or night interceptor type aircraft with necessary crews on a continuous alert basis. These aircraft should be equipped with gun camera and such armament as deemed advisable in order to secure photographs necessary to the obtainment of all possible data on any reported and cited unusual phenomenon of the flying disc type in the atmosphere. It is envisaged. I guess that's how you say that. I have never used that word in my life. Am I even saying that right? Now I'm curious. I've literally never seen this word in my entire life. Envisaged. What the frick? Envisaged. What? Envisaged. I've never heard that word in my life. I'm not even kidding. I ain't never heard that word in my life. Ever in my life. Okay. Whatever that is, what does it even mean? Contemplate or conceive of a possibility or a desirable future event. So, like envisioned. Just use the word envision. Okay, whatever. That each Air Force installation maintaining aircraft on an alert basis for this purpose would investigate all unusual flying objects reported from any source in any area over which it has cognizance. Such a program would obviously require a detailed standard operating procedure, in the preparation of which Air Materiel Command should cooperate. Should, but will they? See, I don't really care about their protocols, you know. Forwarded as a matter pertaining to your command. Cool. I want stories and photos and stuff like that. Okay, this is something to do with Fort Sam Houston in Texas. Enclosed a summary of information prepared by the 10th Air Force resident agent at Houston, Texas, covering a report of flying discs received by the FBI office in Houston, Texas. But see, Texas has some other weird shit that happens here too with cattle. Some of you guys might remember when I had my Logical Oddity channel before YouTube decided to completely destroy it, delete its existence from ever existing ever, that I reported on something about cows that had been found to be mutilated, but the cuts on them were very surgically clean. There was no blood anywhere on the ground. It's like they had been literally sucked dry of all of their blood. Their tongues had been cut out. And again, surgical precision, no blood on the ground, just these weirdly mutilated cow bodies. Just out in the middle of nowhere. No trail for how they got there. Nothing. There's been several stories like that. One right outside of Houston, I think, was like the one I reported on. But yeah, we have weird shit that happens here. See? Mm-hmm. Yeah, very odd. And you know, it's crazy too, because what is the most common little abduction scene? The cow being picked up by the UFO with the little green man in the bubble, you know? I think there's even a game. There was a game I played. Was it a Spyro? Was it Spyro? Was it Spyro? Was it one of the little worlds in Spyro? For some reason, I feel like this was Spyro. I have the trilogy pack, so maybe it was in one of them, but for some reason, my brain is saying Spyro. But there was a part of a game where you had a little UFO and there was all these cows and you had to run around and energize all these little poles for things in a certain amount of time to save the cows from being abducted. And if the UFO came over the cow, you were able to go over there and do something to pull the cow back down out of the tractor beam. It was a whole thing. So it's just interesting that cows and aliens have always had a odd connection. Super odd connection. Attached for your information is a copy of Collection Memorandum Number 7, which was forwarded to field collection agencies for action on above subject. This directorate has been advised that contact has been made with the Horton brothers. Oh, say that's about that damn bomber plane. Attached report for your information, and then there's no report. That's the end of the page. Okay. Well, that's it for page 1. That's it for page 1. There's 25 pages in this first release. might be a minute. It might be a minute. Yeah, I've seen those. So we didn't really see too many things. I'm hoping that once we go through it more, it gets like more detail where we get more video and pictures and stuff like that. The potato was interesting. The potato shaped one is a lot like the Tic Tac one if you really think about it. They're pretty much like similar shapes. There's just like some different contours. But if the potato was really like that, then its scales or panels or whatever constantly moving would also make its shape a little bit more difficult. But again, the way that they're describing it as like a metallic skin, just the way that it's like being worded as skin is just so weird. It's just so strange. So strange. But I guess that's it, guys. It's 11:11. I've gone about 30 minutes over, which I kind of figured I might, but it's totally fine. I just want to make sure that for sure I take 2 hours out each Sunday morning to go through these. And 8:45 might be a little bit early for people on a Sunday. So maybe next week I'll change it to like 9:15. I'll just kind of like play with the time to like see what like works best for everyone. Never later than like, I don't want to start later than like 9:30 or 10 a.m. my time, because I do want to always like bring in more stuff on Sunday on the other channel, because Monday starts that schedule, you know, that 5-day bullshit schedule. So I don't know, but for sure, at least 2 hours every Sunday, I want to start going through these files just to see what we can see. Really? Why? Why? That's weird. So weird. I don't think so. I don't think so, because it's usually like just one or two in different areas, and there's no blood. There's no puncture wounds for like IV. There's no like neck slits. And like, because like if you're a hunter, you know that you do a neck thing and then you flip the damn thing upside down and it bleeds into a bucket. That's how my dad always did it with deer, hog, whatever. There's none of that. The bodies are just dried up like SpongeBob out of water with their tongues cut out surgically, like precisely, ridiculously, professionally cut. Not like ripped out or like someone had a pocket knife. It's literally like surgical, precisely clean cuts. It's weird. It's so strange. It's so strange. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here and get some stuff done around the house before we go live on my other channel about 2.5 hours or so to go over chapter 9 in the Broken Plea book, going over the crackhead timeline they put together. That thing is so, ugh. We'll talk about it over there, because you know, I'm just gonna keep talking about it over there. But thank you so much for coming in here and joining me over here today, and thank you so much for you two for joining. Thank you so much. I want to do more over here. For sure, we're going to do this every Sunday. I want to do other stuff too, but you know, I can only do as much as I can. And I have so many ideas in my mind. Sometimes I do feel like I'm going crazy because there's so many things I want to talk about. But thank you again for coming over here and being here instead of over there. I really do appreciate it. I really do. I really do. Y'all have a super great day. I'll see you guys in a few hours, hopefully over there on the other channel. If not, have a great day. Have a great Sunday. Don't let Monday be a wrecker to your life. Embrace it. I hope you get some sleep, Miller time. I know I'm going to try to get some sleep tonight. I don't use melatonin. It makes me feel hungover. I don't ever get hangovers, but if I ever were to get a hangover, I feel like it would be the way that melatonin makes me feel. So I don't use it. Plus, it's not very healthy for you at all. There's actually been some studies here lately of people that are now like low 20s whose parents like really hella gave them melatonin because it was so trending for some reason and so just normal. Now they have like heart issues and stuff that's coming back to like the melatonin. I'm glad I didn't really give my kids that a lot, like a couple times, because the doctors were trying to like help me figure it out, but I honestly just did not like that stuff. If it didn't affect me right and they have half of me in them, then obviously I'm going to be worried about how it affects them too. So I don't know what else there is, you know, but I hope you get some sleep. But I'll see you guys in a few. I will see you guys in a few. Y'all have a great rest of your day. If I don't see you, I just got to make sure that this doesn't play my Idaho outro. Okay, there it goes. All right. I'll see you guys in a few hours. See y'all.